Game over. Game over. Johnny.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Why so serious?
Roll out.
I am Iron Man.
This is a tasty burger.
Welcome to the In Session Film Podcast.
Welcome to episode 701 for August 15th, 2026, and I'm JD Duran.
And I'm Megan Kearns.
Hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope everyone had a fun dino weekend over this last weekend, because not only did we get to the end of Oak Street, but a lot of kids out there visiting dinosaurs through Paw Patrol.
Oh,
which,
yes.
Of course, was out simultaneously. So there was just dinosaurs everywhere, all over the theater this last weekend. It was quite extraordinary. I don't know what the box office is, because if you notice the date I laid out there, we are recording this early. I've also had a busy weekend. I don't even know how these films are tracking. My theater, for what it's worth, when I went to see Oak Street with Sam, which was a Saturday afternoon, not an empty seat in the house. I don't know if that's indicative of anything or if that is meaningless. Who knows? I don't think the film was tracking to do extraordinary anyway. But I can't even begin to guess. I have no idea. I assume that it lost to Paw Patrol, though. I'm going to assume that.
You think so? I
think
know.
so. Paw Patrol is
That's true.
international, and
it
it's
has a loyal
you know
fan
how those
base.
like little kids movies go. I mean, they do gangbusters. So
That's true. That is true.
So again, I could be way off. Paw Patrol might have made $6 million. I have no idea.
I don't think that low.
But I'm going to guess an international brand like Paw Patrol did fairly well over the weekend. But who knows? Either way, we hope so. You know, you went out and experienced some dinosaurs. We'll have a review for Oak Street coming later on this week. So you can be on the lookout for that. For this week's show, we are moving on from Brendan Cassidy, who was here last week. It was very exciting to finally get him back on the show after being away as a new dad. He will, at the very least, be back for our 1998 retrospective, which is coming up fairly soon. Probably about a month from now, I would guess, is when we are planning to do that. So for those that have experienced our retrospectives and want to join us for the next one, that is around the corner here very, very soon. I have been watching a lot of movies from 1998. And I got to say, Megan, these last 2 weeks have been pretty rich as far as that experience goes. I have been seeing some movies I have never seen before.
Love it.
And that is the beauty of doing an exercise like that.
Absolutely.
It's been great. So that list, which to Megan's chagrin, I have not put together yet, but it's going to be a tough one. That top 10, top 20 for 1998. I know, I can already tell is going to be a nightmare. So I should probably start doing that now so I can figure out the rearranging over the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, you don't want to torture yourself.
Yeah.
Wait to the last minute.
Wait to the last second. Yeah, exactly. So I that's homework I do need to get started on for sure. With that though, for this week, we are actually looking ahead. So this weekend is the new film Tony from Matt Johnson, and it of course stars Dominic Sessa. It's not, from my understanding, I have not seen the film, but it doesn't look like a biopic in the traditional sense. In fact, it looks like the kind of biopic that I really love, where it's about a sliver of the person's life. In this case, it's of course Anthony Bourdain, when he was 19 years old, taking a summer job at a Cape Cod restaurant. It very much looks like the kind of biopic I'm going to go for. It looks really great. And of course, Antonio Banderas has a big role in the film as well. I've heard nothing but good things for the most part. So really looking forward to that one. We'll have a review for that coming soon. But using that as inspiration for our top 5 this week, and it's kind of insane to me that we've been doing this for 12 years and we've never really done this list before. We're going to be talking about our top 5 food movies. And I have a delicious top 5 that I am ready to gorge on when we get to that list. So I'm very excited. Stay tuned for that. That'll be in the back half of the episode. For the first half of the show, of course, we have to get into D23.
Yes.
Let's talk about some Disney. Megan lives in Mickey's backyard. I'm very jealous.
I do.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
So maybe she's got some inside information. Who knows? But
No, the only inside information I have is I get to hear the fireworks every night. So
yeah, of course. Which would be a
Yes.
nightmare for our 3-year-old. It's very funny. I think I told this story back in July that when we were experiencing July 4th, he had a nightmare experience. Does not
I
like
know,
fireworks.
it's so awful.
I know. And every night, every weekend, it feels like a couple of times is like, no fireworks, no fireworks. Like he's still saying, even
Oh,
on our
poor
way home
sweetie.
to prep for this show tonight, he said it again, no fireworks. Like, no, all done fireworks. We're all done. There's no more.
He's horrified by the fireworks.
Yeah. So being in Mickey's backyard would be troublesome, I think.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
Andrew.
It's so funny that you say that because I do not have children, but I do have a fur baby, and my cat she is petrified of thunderstorms. And so when we were looking, my roommate and I, when we were looking for a house, we were like, we talked to the realtor and we're like, we cannot have something that's too close to Disney to have the two, fireworks so loud. And she was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay. My dog gets freaked out, so I kind of get it."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then, so where we live, I was like, "Oh, this has got to be far enough." And my cat is fine, which is great. She ignores them. She's not fazed by them, which is great. But I could still hear them. It's like
still hear them
soft
every-
thunder. It's crazy. Yeah, it's so wild that even as
Love
far
it.
as we are, still hear them. Still impacted by Disney.
Yep. Disney dominating the landscape as
Yep.
they tend to do. So with D23, there were quite a few significant film
Yes.
announcements. Where do you want to start? Is there a particular franchise you want to go to
Ooh.
first?
I know. I'm like, do we start with Disney and Pixar movies? Do we start with Star Wars? Do we start with X-Men?
I know. Where do you want to go?
Let's do Star Wars.
A little bit of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So let's talk some Star Wars. Let's talk Starfighter. This is the new film coming out is it next year when that comes out? Starfighter?
I think so.
I think so. I think it comes out next year. I don't have the release date in front of me. We can look that up. But from those in the room that were shown footage of Starfighter, seemingly looks pretty good. Surprisingly very good, given the director at the helm, which we've been on the record of not being the fondest of.
Correct.
But Starfighter is, and this is what's wild to me. I saw this from several people, so clearly there's something going on with the film, potentially anyway. But it's being described as a variation of Drive
That's wild.
with great visuals and action, a sense of scale, which some of that is to be anticipated because it's Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You do hope that whoever is at the helm with the guidance of the executive producers and what they want to accomplish, that yes, great visuals and action, a sense of scale, that is maybe to be expected. Hopefully that comes through in the direction. But the idea of Ryan Gosling reprising his role of the driver through the context of Star Wars. He even had a jacket on.
Yes, he
He
did.
showcased some sort of jacket. So maybe that is appropriate. Maybe that is exactly what they're going for. And if that is the case, sign me up. I am there immediately. That's actually a very good way to sell me on this project.
Yeah. I have still not seen Drive, so I need to hurry up and
rectify
that so I can see it, and then I'll just of course see.
Especially if this is a spiritual multiverse sequel to Drive. Who knows?
I know. I need to get it together.
Yeah. Drive is really great. I that was one of my favorite films from 2011.
Nice.
To hear that they're channeling that film for this movie, I mean that sells me wholeheartedly. So I'm very, very excited for what Starfighter could be. I mean, the idea of a Starfighter movie in and of itself does pique my interest. Again, the biggest factor is the director for that film. I just don't love Sean Levy as a filmmaker.
Yeah,
I'm worried about Ghost Rider as much as I want to be excited for. And look, if he pulls off Starfighter and it really is this spiritual sequel to Drive, and Gosling is great. And I think the funny thing about that too is that while he's been great in everything he's done, particularly Project Hail Mary earlier this year, he was really, really great. But people have been wanting him to go back to that stoicism of the early 2010s because he's been doing a lot of these big projects lately, and he's been doing a lot of comedy lately. What if this is a bridge between the two? What if Starfighter is this big spectacle Star Wars movie, but features that classic Gosling stoicism that he's so great at?
Oh,
how incredible. Like, I don't know if any of us anticipated or thought of that, but maybe that's what this could be.
Yeah, I think that would be genius because so much of Star Wars either overtly or inadvertently caters to children, and I'm not mad about that. It's it's a lot of lasers and lightsabers and and cute furry animals, so that it kind of begs that to happen. But I would love to see more genre variants amongst Star Wars, and we got that with Andor, having a political intrigue drama. And we've gotten that with some of the cartoons, and I would love that. So I think that would be incredible to have that kind of a role for Ryan Gosling, where you're right, where it is that bridge. I think that would be spectacular, and it would be a different take, which would make sense because this is not the Skywalker saga. This is not the stories that we know. So I think that would be incredible. I would really be excited to see something kind of different.
Yeah, I would love that as well. And it's funny because just a few weeks ago, I talked about how I could watch Leo Woodall simply tune pianos for 2 hours and tuner and be fully satisfied and captivated by that movie. I do feel the same in the sense that if this was nothing but Gosling for 2 hours in a Starfighter brooding and carrying that same ethos from Drive, and that's all he does is ride around in this Starfighter cruiser and has these little adventures, like I'd be so down. He wouldn't have to do anything. Like, no major conflict, no war, just brooding Gosling in a Starfighter for 2 hours. Sign me the hell up. Yeah. Obviously, it's going to be more than that because it is Star Wars after all. But if they do channel that, at least to some degree, this could end up being one of my favorite Star Wars movies. It has that potential. We'll see if the Sean Levy of it all gets in the way, because that is that's going to be the biggest caveat here.
Yes.
Without question. So we'll see. And which scene did Tom Cruise direct? That I'm excited about. Because famously, he did show up on set. In like a helicopter or something? He just shows up in an airplane, gets out and directs a scene. Like,
as you do,
assumes it's going to be the dogfighting Top Gun kind of moment?
I would think that. That would stand to reason.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny though if it wasn't that?
I know.
Something completely different.
It's the brooding Drive moment. Maybe that's what he directed. Who knows? Got to get that right. Tom Cruise. At any rate, Starfighter surprisingly looks very good. So we'll see. I mean, we haven't seen the footage, but based off of what people are saying, I am very intrigued by what is being described, though. Other Star Wars, and I know you're itching to talk about this. Ahsoka Season 2.
Yes.
What do you think about this one?
I love Ahsoka, and I have said this before. You know, Ahsoka is my favorite Star Wars character. Leia and Ahsoka, both of them. But I think Ahsoka is such a fascinating, complicated character, and I love her arc. And so I was elated to have a live action show. And I enjoyed the first season. I think it's got some flaws, but overall I enjoyed it. And so I am ecstatic that it's coming back and that we're getting season 2. I am thrilled. So excited.
Yeah. And did you see the trailer?
No.
Of course not.
Because I don't watch trailers as a general rule.
Okay. I might need you to take an exception on this one.
Okay.
Just because of your feverish love of the character.
Okay.
And also here for this reason as well. Maybe you'll disagree, but I'm with you in the sense that Ahsoka is without question one of the best Star Wars characters, hands down, full stop. If you have not seen the Clone Wars TV show,
oh my God,
because it's a cartoon, you need to rearrange that perspective and go and watch that show.
Immediately.
Because it's very good, and Ahsoka is a phenomenal character. In a lot of ways, the beating heart of the show.
Yes.
She's incredible.
Without
very,
question,
very good. Then shows up in Star Wars Rebels, which was another great show.
Yes, I love Rebels.
Another phenomenal show. Say what you will about Filoni, but he has a great handle on animation. Very good with the handling of Ahsoka, his beloved treasure. And the first season of Ahsoka, I think, is a little underrated in the sense that visually, I don't think it's nearly as tepid as a lot of the other live action series that we've seen on Disney Plus. I think visually speaking, there's actually good substance there.
I agree.
Now, does it get bogged down in some of the Filoni nostalgia stuff that's happening? Perhaps a little bit. I don't think it's perfect. The writing to me is what bogs that first season down more than anything else. And just trying to find some of that connective tissue. But generally, I think it's a good season 1. Maybe not great. It doesn't reach the heights of The Mandalorian at its very best, for example, and certainly Andor as well. But good. It's far from bad. It is good.
I agree.
The trailer for season 2, to me, again, it is just a trailer, so it is its job to sell you on what we're about to experience. It looks incredible. Season 2 looks 10 times better than season 1. If we're taking season 2 at face value, or the trailer for season 2.
I'm not surprised because season 1 feels like it's just setting everything up. So
yeah. So that's why I want to hear your thoughts, because again, you might come back to me and go, "You're an idiot. That looks terrible."
Yes, because that sounds just like me.
Yeah.
You idiot.
Yeah. No, dumb idiot. No, maybe you'll disagree. I don't know. Yeah. Or you could love it as well. I'd be really intrigued to get your thoughts on it. And also, like, I don't know how much it details, because it's one of those, I mean, it's kind of acting as a teaser trailer. So we're getting a broad sense of the scale and the scope and where the journey is going to take us. And a lot of familiar characters are, of course, coming back. So I think season 2 is really going to come down to the writing from episode to episode. Can Filoni get out of his own way? And can it amplify the great aspects of season 1 and give it some new edge and new complexity. Mm-hmm. If the trailer is any indication, I think the answer to that is 100% yes. Mm-hmm. And it looks very, very good. Yeah. I watched that and I was like, man, this could be 10, 20 times better than season 1, which I liked.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, considering where season 1 leaves off and how it's hearkening back to Clone Wars and the mythology there, if they dig into it, I'm
trailer
pumped.
does very much get into or suggest. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Which is why you need to see it.
Okay.
I want to get your thoughts.
All right. I will break my no trailer embargo.
Just this one time. You don't have to watch the second trailer. I just want to get your thoughts. Yes. Because that teaser was very, very exciting. Yeah, I think season 2 of Ahsoka has a lot of potential, for sure. All right, so moving on from Star Wars, I guess let's talk a little X-Men. Because a couple of weeks ago, we came on here, we talked about Comic-Con, and Marvel had revealed some interesting new things. Mostly they focused on Doomsday for the people in the room. They got that new trailer, which was revealed to the rest of us over the weekend via D23. And we got the Ghost Rider news, but they held off on the X-Men cast. And we presumed that, hey, D23, it's coming up in a few weeks. We'll likely get an announcement there. And lo and behold, they got an announcement. But I want to start here, actually. We know that Sadie Sink is going to be Jean Grey. What I am mostly fascinated by here is Adam Driver. Because Feige has joked forever that he always calls Adam Driver. Adam Driver politely says no and ends the Zoom call. That's happened countless times. They finally got him. They finally got him to say yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. Incredible. And he gets to play Mr. Sinister, a role that is very juicy. Adam Driver is going to completely eat that role. He's going to be the best at it. So I could see why he signed up for that, because it feels like something right up his alley. And I bet you they sold that really hard. I would love to see the Zoom call. Like the Zoom call itself could be a fun documentary to watch. Because I bet they sold that very well. And he finally said yes. I thought that was very funny to see that over the weekend.
I think it's so funny that casting is what you're most excited about. And I totally get why. But what I think is fascinating is my most excited casting in that announcement is Christopher Abbott. Because Christopher Abbott it feels like he's so selective with the projects that he works on, that he is an actor that I will watch in just about anything, just because I know that if he's in it, it's going to be weird. The caliber of it is going to be great. And so when I saw that he was cast, and the rest of the cast is great, like Indy Navarrete, who I have been riding hard for.
We'll talk about it. Yeah,
yes,
we'll talk about it. Yeah.
I am pumped. I am excited. But Christopher Abbott was the one that I was like, ooh, this is exciting. This is great news. Because if he's on board, and who knows, I don't want to be cynical, but maybe it's just a paycheck. Who knows? But I would like to think, because he chooses such fascinating projects, this is going to be good. So that got me even more excited about this.
Yeah. I mean, he's done a lot of great things over the years, for sure. I will say, what's funny about that to me is that when I look at his most recent outing, especially with superheroes, he was the Forwarder in Kraven the Hunter, a film so bad.
Okay, yeah, that's bad.
A film so bad, I didn't even bother to watch it because the reviews were like, this is shockingly terrible.
Okay, my argument might be entirely undone from that one choice.
No, because you're right. There's so many great titles here. I mean, we're talking about The Testament of Ann Lee, Poor Things, First Man, Vox Lux, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, which was very, very good. A Most Violent Year. Like, there are some really great titles here. Marcy May Moline, of course. Yeah, fantastic movies here. So to your point, yes, generally I agree.
Usually,
it's just funny that when you
that
look
point.
at the superhero movie specifically, that's where your argument is like, okay, maybe he does this for the paycheck and everything else is artistically driven.
That's true. I mean, listen, that, the Twilight money allowed, Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson to take all kinds of weird idiosyncratic roles. So there we go.
There you go. But I think maybe this is where you could tie in, funny enough, the Adam Driver conversation. I obviously invoke it from a joking perspective because they've been trying to do this forever, and Feige's like, he always says no, but we have to ask. He's one of our top priorities. And they ask and he always says no. But now Driver says yes.
Right.
I think there's a reason for that as well. If he's always saying no, there's got to be something about this script, this material that has him excited. And I don't know which was which. Maybe Abbott joins because Driver is coming on board.
Maybe.
And one assumes they're going to go toe to toe in some sort of way. And of course, the money is always going to be a big part of it. But
yeah, right. You can't ignore the money.
you can't ignore the money.
No.
But I find that interesting that, maybe those two things are actually hand in hand. Especially when you consider that, I mean, it's X-Men. So that alone is going to have some intrigue. It's one of the most iconic comic book franchises. And it's also going to be directed by Jake Schreier, who directed arguably the best Marvel movie we've seen out of the last 3 to 4 years, Brand New Day aside. Obviously, that enters the chat. But prior to Brand New Day, I would say Thunderbolts is the best one we've seen in quite a while within the Marvel canon.
Yeah, that's great.
So you got a director that's proven, at least quality-wise, is proven within the MCU. And that alone would excite me, regardless of who the cast is. That alone, you have my interest. And now you announce the likes of Christopher Abbott and Adam Driver, Sadie Sink, as we noted, Kit Connor coming on as Cyclops. A lot of people very excited about that. Samara Weaving joining as Emma Frost, which was heavily rumored. We might have even brought this up a couple of weeks ago because we assumed she would be introduced at Comic-Con. That was so prominent. So we knew that was happening, but still exciting nonetheless that it's official. Mara Boyd coming on as Storm.
Yes.
And this is interesting because it's mostly an unknown unless you're a musical theater nerd. Then you know the name. I love that. I love the idea of casting a somewhat unknown here in this role that we'll be introduced to. The last time this franchise did that, I'd say it worked out pretty well for Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
He's doing all right. So if you're nervous about that, just pump the brakes there a little bit. It worked out before. And I've heard nothing but amazing things about Maya Boyd. So yeah, that has me excited. And then of course there's Indy Navarrete, and you could lump her into the same conversation in the sense that until Obsession, we didn't really know much about her either. So not quite an unknown, but she also doesn't have a deep filmography either.
Right.
The other pivot here with Navarrete is that she's now been cast as Rogue when a lot of people were assuming Mystique as perhaps the role for her, given the clip that was going around. Clear as day, that was a trap that she was setting, I guess. I don't know. Or they signed her after that clip went viral. I don't know. I don't know how that went. Either way, she's been cast officially as Rogue. I actually love that as well.
I do too.
I know that's been a little bit polarized, but I think that's inspired casting. Given what I saw her do in Obsession as far as fully committing to a certain persona, given who Rogue is. And I loved the Anna Paquin version of the character in the 2000s films because it was so very different than the cartoon and very different from the comics. The backstory was similar-ish enough, but she brought a very different dynamic generally to Rogue that I thought was really great. And given her chemistry with Hugh Jackman, yeah, I loved what she brought to it. So I don't like Navarrete, if she decides that she wants to channel the classic ethos of the character, and given what I saw from her in Obsession, as far as being able to fully commit to this very specific dynamic, I think she's going to nail it. That's where I think this is inspired, actually.
I completely agree with you. I think that Rogue is a lot more complicated of a character than she might initially appear, like especially if you're not familiar with the cartoons or the comics. And so I am very, very excited to see what she does. And it kind of interestingly, like thinking about how she, you know, can absorb powers and how malleable her facial expressions can be and her body language. I think there's something very exciting about that. So it makes sense that people would think or would have thought that she would have been Mystique. That makes sense. But I think it's very exciting and really intriguing that she's cast as Rogue. So I'm excited too for that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like it. Yeah. I think it's very inspired given who the character is in the comics and some of those complexities that you're talking about. I think she's going to be able to tap into that wonderfully. I think maybe my only question is, again, is she going to try to bring something new to it? Like we saw Paquin do, or if she is going to channel the comics, can she do the accent? Can she bring that Southern energy to the character? Again, I'm going to presume yes, simply based off of what I saw her do in Obsession, because that, again, the specificities, the details and the mannerisms, it is an incredible performance. It's still one of the best performances I've seen this year. So if she can bring that Southern Mississippi cadence to it, and my family's from Mississippi, I know that cadence very, very well. I would love to hear it. I can't really do it myself because I grew up in Michigan, but yeah, I mean, I think that'd be fun to see.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious. And then the other aspect too is, I guess I'm curious what happens at the end of Secret Wars, because you have to wonder if Channing Tatum's Gambit is going to be a part of this. Or are they going to recast that character? Because the one thing about the Paquin version of the character is that they also completely rewrote that romance. Gambit famously wasn't even in those X-Men movies from the 2000s, which was a heartbreaker for me even at the time, because that is my favorite. Like, he's one of my very favorite X-Men characters. And man, X-Men 97 has done such a great job of filling that gap for me. Nice. That's been easily my favorite part of that show so far. So I don't know, because like Gambit comes from, like, he's part of like that whole weird multiverse thing they're doing here. It would not surprise me if at the end of Secret Wars that the character falls victim to what we see in Secret Wars. And they have to recast that character, which is fine. I'm totally okay if that's the direction they want to go. But because they didn't announce a Gambit, as at least so far, it does make me wonder if that is the plan moving forward, is for Channing Tatum to eventually join this film, but they don't want to put the cart before the horse a little bit, because they want us to see what plays out with the character in these next two movies. Right.
Yeah, so, I'm curious too.
Yeah. You know, because like, what's going to happen with Magneto? Is Magneto going to be a part of this?
That is a question.
They announced what we have, like 7 or 8 names here. But there's some big titles that still have to be revealed at some point, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. Magneto being maybe the biggest of them. And if they do Magneto, do they stick to the World War II history? Because that would make the character like 150. Well,
yes.
I don't know. I'm being facetious, but you
no,
get my point.
You're not wrong. I literally watched earlier today a video on TikTok about this where someone was talking about this, and it's like, what do you do? Do you keep the same story about a Holocaust survivor? Do you make it so his family is are Holocaust survivors? You know, how do you handle the age? Is there a time travel element? So yes, no. So you are not alone in the one, and I'm sure there are many other people who are wondering that as well.
Yeah. And maybe that's why they didn't cast or reveal Magneto, because they're still trying to figure out what they want to do there.
Yeah, maybe.
Because, I mean, the Holocaust is such a crucial, vital aspect to the character. Mm-hmm. But if you want to transcend beyond that, and the idea is that it's some sort of genocide.
Right.
Well, as sad as it is, there's a lot more than one.
That is true.
There's actually plenty of genocides and atrocities we can point to in the world within the last 30 years to make sense of that character. Mm-hmm. So if you did want to update the background, but keep the spirit of it, there are sadly plenty you can look to.
Yes.
As far as that goes. So, which would be interesting, because if you use that, if you do update it to something more modern, then you can also change how the appearance of the character, perhaps a different ethnicity. Mm-hmm. There's lots of different interesting things you could do to, again, maintain the spirit
of
the character, while, remedying the idea that if you use the Holocaust, that would make the character like 150 years old. And that makes no sense, given that they're clearly going in a younger direction with this new cast. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Yeah. And clearly they're not setting it in the past like the way they've done before, when after they recast and had a younger X-Men cast, like with Jennifer Lawrence and so forth. So clearly it's in our time period. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Sadie Sink and Brand New Day, it's as modern day as it gets.
Right. Exactly.
So one assumes that if Magneto is like a Christopher Abbott in terms of age range, like the atrocity has to be from the 80s. Most likely late 70s, 80s is kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
All right, we'll pick one. There's
it's so horrifying.
I know. It's like, I hate to laugh because it is morbid, and there is sadly plenty to pick from. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Is that what you do? Is that going to upset a lot of fans? I mean, I don't know.
I think it will. I mean, because from a thematic sense, it makes sense to update, which sounds kind of flippant too. But you're right. But I feel that his Jewish identity is such a potent part. It's a vital part.
It's a big part of it. Yeah,
so it is tough. It's like, what do you do? Yeah. So you certainly could keep him Jewish and have his family be Holocaust survivors. So, be like 3rd or 4th generation. But but you're right. There are so many atrocities. Oh my God. So many. Well,
and maybe that's what you do. Now that you've sparked that idea in my mind, maybe that he is Jewish still, his family obviously victims of the Holocaust. But the other thing too, like, again, the general idea with Eric is that they don't treat us very well. They treat us like we're subhuman, that we're inferior. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily have to experience a tragedy yourself to to understand the depths of that.
Right.
Or to be motivated to create change.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea that his parents and his grandparents were victim to this in one way or another. So you keep the heritage, and without him experiencing it himself firsthand, at least in the same way, like the iconic Magneto lore,
mm-hmm.
he just uses what, like, the world around him, this change of how mutants are treated, that becomes his motivation. And that actually might make the most sense here, because we are now being introduced to mutants for the first time. So the world doesn't really know much about them yet. And Jean Grey has now set a precedent that, as we talked about in the review, that now people have reason to question them.
Yes.
Because she did all of these horrible things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So moving forward, maybe all of this injustice they start to experience is from Brand New Day onward. He sees this, and that's what sparks his outrage.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I mean, and obviously he's not going to be the first villain. Mr. Sinister is clearly going to be that. So perhaps the events of that will also lay out Eric's motivation a little bit more, assuming he's in the film.
I feel like he has to be, even if it's a cameo. Like, has to be.
It's like having a Superman movie without Lois Lane. Like, how do you do that?
Right. Yeah. Like, no, you need to have him. Like, somewhere in some way, he's got his presence must be there.
I agree. No, I agree. Well, before we move on, any other thoughts on the X-Men cast here? I mean, we kind of went through them. Do you have any thoughts on Kit Connor or?
I'm not really familiar with his work, so no. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's going to be great, but I don't really have much to go on. So.
Yeah, I don't have too many extra thoughts here either. I think this is all totally fine so far. I like how this cast is shaping up. Mm-hmm. My biggest questions are everything we just talked about in terms of Gambit. Is he going to be a part of this? Please let Gambit be a part of this. Even if you have to recast on from Channing Tatum. If Tatum's version dies or becomes a victim of Secret Wars, I'm fine with that. But Gambit has to be a part of this. We have not really seen him in live action outside of Tatum's one appearance. Mm-hmm. But he's one of the best characters. And he's such a key part of the group. Like, please bring in Gambit in one way or another. The Magneto questions as we just laid out. So, I mean, that's kind of like my biggest question marks as of now. But this cast here is all really great. I do like this. I will say the one thing for Kit Connor, and I'm with you, I'm not too familiar with his work outside of, like, early on he has like a really small role in the film Mr. Holmes, ironically, with
with Ian McKellen.
Our previous Magneto. So there's an X-Men tie there, I guess. And then he has a small role in Ready Player One. He plays young Elton John in Rocket Man. But primarily what you and I know him from, he is the voice of Bright Bill in The Wild Robot. Oh, God, I love me some Bright Bill. I love that character.
That? Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay. Amazing. Now
he
I'm
is
in.
the great voice for Bright Bill. So that is my correlation to Kit Connor. But he also has a role in Warfare. They came out early last year, so we would have seen him in that as well. But outside of those two movies, and I have seen Mr. Holmes. I've seen Ready Player One. I've seen Rocket Man. Obviously, he had small bit parts in those movies, so you're not really going to remember him. But I do know that voice. I do know that voice. If Bright Bill, even in the slightest of ways, comes out through his Cyclops performance, I'm going to lose it.
I know. I'm like, you're just going to become undone.
I'm like, that's Bright Bill. Oh,
like,
God.
No.
Yeah.
It's all over.
It's all over for me, yeah. All right, so that is X-Men. I like where things are going. Very excited for the X-Men saga. Frozen 3.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to lay this out there. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people might disagree with me on this. I think that is perfectly fair. we have been pretty open about our feelings on Frozen. In fact, last week with Brendan here, when we were talking about, we did a consensus top 10 for the biggest hits of the In-Session Film era. We took the top 50 highest grossing movies of the last 12 years, and we picked 10 of them as these are the movies we think are the 10 best collectively between myself and Megan and Brendan. And lo and behold, Frozen comes into the picture. In fact, we talked about both Frozen and Frozen 2. There was a moment in the conversation where we were like, should we include both of them? Should Frozen and Frozen 2 be in the top 10? And because we thought there would be such a massive pushback to that, I kind of vetoed the idea.
But it would have been amazing.
We're going to get comments, and I just don't want to have to deal with that. Which is funny because I wasn't even thinking about D23 and the announcement of Frozen 3 just a week later. But yeah, I mean, we were pretty open with how we feel about those two movies last week on the show. But for anyone that missed, the TLDR is that we are pretty big fans of it. That first Frozen is a fascinating deconstruction of the Disney formula. I think so much of the pushback simply comes down to it was everywhere. And when something becomes so popular, the arrows come out. And we don't just see this with, box office receipts. Whatever your leading contender is for Best Picture, prepare yourself. Armor yourself because the arrows are coming for you. Every award season.
Every time.
Every time. If you're sweeping, get the armor out because they are coming for you. And that was the case with Frozen. It was so popular. People got annoyed to hell and the arrows came out. And honestly, I think that's where most of the vitriol comes from. It's not really the film itself. The songs are very good. I do think the songs are very good, but I think it's
they're great.
Very clever as a film about where Disney points the finger at themselves. And Disney has, what's the word? They, as a corporation, greed? Does greed do it justice? Maybe they're not Bob Iger. Maybe they're not Zaslav bad. But they're pretty close. They've done their fair share. Iger is not too far off.
Yeah. Greed might not encompass it fully. It might not be severe enough.
Yeah. So the idea of Disney allowing that to happen, I don't think that's nothing. But it is a fascinating deconstruction of the Disney formula among many other great elements of it. And Frozen 2 is just one of the weirdest Disney movies. I can't believe that got greenlit.
Oh man, but I love it. It's so good.
I love it too. Yeah.
I know. It's so good. So weird.
So anyway, we're big fans of it. So Frozen 3, honestly, of everything they announced, I think that makes a case for the thing I'm the most excited about. Weirdly. Underratedly.
Love that.
Yeah.
How did you feel about those songs?
I did not listen to the songs.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
I didn't watch trailers, but I listened to the songs.
Yeah. I have not heard the songs yet.
Okay.
I did
Curious to hear your
see
thoughts.
the little trailer that they dropped or the clip. It's not really a clip. I guess it's like a scene / trailer that they put out or that they released for people there in the room. I did watch that and it was very Frozen. Olaf, hilarious as he always is. Yeah, it was very intriguing. And I like how it ends with that great mystery there. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. The biggest thing for me is I hope that it maintains the weirdness of Frozen 2.
Oh, that would be great.
While
That would
maybe
be great.
bringing in that deconstructionist mentality as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. I'm very curious for Frozen 3. I've come around on this franchise in a way that I wouldn't have anticipated because when Frozen first came out, like I did really like the film a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I found myself championing the film until the backlash came. And then it felt ridiculous. Like, and like, this is just going to get us down a rabbit hole, I guess. But because I feel this way about award season generally, which is why we have a t-shirt at the In Session Film store around the idea of turning art into sports.
Right.
Because I think it's absurd. And like, I feel like in most cases, not all cases, but in most cases, the backlash is manufactured. And I don't think people really care all that much. I really don't. People don't go around thinking about Frozen. They don't go around thinking about La La Land. They don't go around thinking about Coda. They don't care. They really don't care. They only care within a very specific framework, within a specific context. Mm-hmm. And that's it. And when the film enters that framework, then God damn it, I have to sling my goddamn arrows and my rocks. And I cannot let this go, ironically. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I find the faux outrage of it all to be absurd. And because it's so manufactured and clearly born out of this hollow place, then I do feel a reason to champion the film. So that's where my love of Frozen came from. Frozen 2, I mean, that was a middling, polarized response to the movie, but I thought it was very good. And I can understand why that film is, or that it got the responses it did, because again, it's one of Disney's boldest, weirdest movies. So that one is a little bit more understandable. That first Frozen, I found myself championing it because, again, I don't think people really hate it. I think it's just born out of, oh my God, it's everywhere and I can't get it out of my head and I need to do something about it.
Yeah, I definitely think the ubiquity definitely got to people, especially if they had kids and had to hear it all the time or hear their kids.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, for me, I was enraptured by it from day one. I remember exactly where I was, the press screening. I saw it. I was transfixed. I was mesmerized. I was like, I cannot believe what I just saw. This is incredible. Mm-hmm. This is one of the most outstanding films I've seen. It's incredible. I love it. And I don't care how many times I hear the music. I still cry. I still sing along. I love it. Yeah. It's so beautiful. Well, so for me, I don't care. Yes. But I do get how that could be grating, when you just cannot escape it.
Yeah. And the one thing I love about talking to you is that you offer these new perspectives on things that I sometimes don't even think about. Because when I first saw Frozen and when I was initially championing the film, it's because I loved that deconstructionist mentality. Mm-hmm. But you've also opened up that framework further regarding its queerness or potential queerness, like that interpretation of it anyway. And I think, I think all of that is there. The way that you describe and articulate that, I can very much see where you're coming from. And that adds a whole level of nuance to the film that I didn't have previously. So now I feel even more inclined to champion the film. Like, I think it's very, very good. I've always thought it was very good, but yeah, I mean, the faux outrage around not just Frozen, but again, just anything that becomes so popular. And I am specifically criticizing the faux-ness of it all. Anyone that has legit gripes with the film and comes at it in a good faith way, that I'm not talking about that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, people are not going to like the film and they offer up their good faith criticisms and response. Like, that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. I'm obviously not undermining that at all. But the general outrage of it is clearly not that.
Yeah.
People aren't coming at it from a place of good faith at all.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And just backing up just slightly, I just want to say there is so much incredible writing about the queerness and about how Frozen is a trans allegory. There are just incredible essays out there, especially that came out when the film released. So that is I have to give credit where credit is due. That I read so many fantastic pieces on that perspective, which is great. But but it is fascinating to hear. Like I think about La La Land too, and how incensed people were about La La Land, and I don't know. I don't know if people just get in this where some people are manufacturing the hate and other people get caught up in this loop where they're like, well, I didn't like it. And so then it like feeds, this negative, like it's a feedback loop. I don't know, but it's kind of wild.
Yeah. Like it was 10 years ago where that happened. And I think some people really do forget. I have not forgotten. I've not forgotten because I had never experienced anything like that. Film vitriol, of course, that is always and will always exist.
Yes.
But I had never seen anything like the La La Land pushback at that time. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah.
It was wild. It's as bad as anything we've seen in the last few years, in the last 5 years. Yeah, that was unlike anything. And I get it because Moonlight was very good. But that was the first time I had really seen art as sports in the most toxic way possible. Mm-hmm. Because again, none of it, the Frozen thing was different because that was like, okay, here's this singular thing in front of me. I can't escape it. The only way is through. So here come the heroes and here comes the army and we're going to fight the shit out of this. La La Land, that was a rivalry. That was a born manufactured rivalry. And the stuff being slung at La La Land is no different than what I see between Michigan and Ohio State fans. And that is one of the most contentious rivalries I've seen. And I'm on sports Twitter all the time as well, equally as much as film Twitter. And that is a toxic rivalry. And fans are not nice to each other. But that, that's sports. It's a little bit more understandable in that context. But La La Land and Moonlight,
I say this as a non-sports person. I'm like,
okay, it's more accepted.
I'll just put it that way.
It is accepted.
That is fair.
Because it's a rivalry. You have two teams that hate each other. You both want to win. And there is an objective outcome at the end of it. If Ohio State wins, what am I going to do?
Yeah,
they won the game. If Michigan wins, I get to gloat, and you can't do anything about it. They won the game objectively. There is a winner and loser.
That's true. Yeah. But art isn't that way.
Art isn't decided that way.
No.
And again, the irony is that La La Land and Moonlight are both great movies.
Yeah, they're both excellent. I mean, there's one I prefer, but that's neither here nor there. They're both excellent films.
Yeah, and that's fine. There's going to be subjective variances there.
Of course.
No, of course.
Yeah. But that's not what you're talking about.
No. Yeah, and the general idea around both of them is like they're highly regarded as very good movies. Which is why they were the top two contenders.
Yep.
So why are we pitting them up against each other? Like from an art perspective, that never makes sense to me.
No.
But the Oscars is a competition, and that drives people toward sports, which is, it begs the question that I will not ask here on the show because I do not want people to come after me.
It's funny that you say that though, because I remember when that came out and I feel like La La Land was a movie that I found myself defending. And I'm like, wait, why am I defending this? Like, this is wild. Like, it makes no sense. And this was pre-Oscars. So some people were gunning for La La Land to fail. And if it doesn't work for you, you hate it, you dislike it, that's fine. That's fair. But yeah, I don't know. To talk about how it's a terrible film and it's trash, I don't know.
And it's inevitable. I mean, if you're a leading contender, prepare yourselves because it's going to come. It's going to come. Now, sometimes you're undeniable and it takes a little longer for people to get there. Such as Oppenheimer, for example, or One Battle After Another. It took a while for people to start slinging arrows on One Battle, but it got there. Eventually, it got there. Yeah, I mean, when you're up at the top, all they want to do is drag you down. That's all they want to do. And I've never, I just don't find that interesting. That's not an interesting conversation to me. If you want to champion your champion, I'm all ears. Give me that argument. If you don't think One Battle is the best, tell me about Marty Supreme or Sorry Baby or whatever your movie is. Tell me about that. What did you like about The Naked Gun or whatever? I just threw that out.
I love that. Throwing a wrench in. The thing of it is too, though, is that I'm here for deconstructions and critiques, even negative ones. I want to hear those. I want to hear why something didn't work for someone or why you have a problem with it or what your issues are with it. But that is very different than what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
No. Right. No, I know. And those are two totally different things. And it's frustrating, it's demoralizing, and it does feel so antithetical to art.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because when you're trying to take down something, that's not coming from a place of good faith.
Yeah.
That's you being annoyed and irked that your film isn't going to win. And you know what that sounds like? Sports. That's sports.
I was going to say a crybaby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but sports.
That's sports.
Yeah.
My team is losing, and it looks like they're going to lose. So the only option I have here is to attack the other team. That's it. That happens all the time. Yeah, and look, again, in sports, there's objective winners and losers, so it's more accepted. Hopefully people can still be less personal in their attacks.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is making it your whole identity. And I'm talking about when you like a film or when you like a TV show, or I guess even a team too. That's weird to me. And I understand that knee-jerk reaction to kind of take it personally, because you're like, wait, I love this. Why don't you love this too? But other than having a knee-jerk reaction, it makes no sense to me. It is just absurd to take it personally.
Yeah, when you just
go to war
keep harping on it.
Yes, right.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm getting to with One Battle or whatever film is up at the top, or whatever is popular. Yeah, when it's just that idea of the thing that I love isn't being talked about, so then I need to go attack that thing. And that I don't find interesting.
No.
But yeah, if you want to have a good faith debate on something, then that's fine. Totally for that all day. That's what I love about having this show and having these conversations and the reviews that we do. We don't always agree. That's fine. We're not over here slinging arrows at each other. No. And it certainly doesn't become a personality.
Oh my God, no.
And also, I just don't understand from an individual perspective where you find the energy. Like we talked about here, I'll use this as an example.
It is so draining.
The Last House we talked about last week.
Oh, man.
And that'll likely be the last time I ever talk about that movie. Now, if The Last House goes on to become an Oscar contender and it's up for Best Picture, you know what movie I'm not going to talk about?
The
Last House, because I don't care. I don't care. I did not like the film. If you did, great. I love that for you. I'm going to spend my energy elsewhere because I just don't care. So I've never understood that mentality. At any rate, we're getting sidetracked here. There's two more films I want to mention real quick, and that is Incredibles 2 and Coco 2. Incredibles 3, I should say. Forgive me. Incredibles 3, we don't have to spend a lot of time on because maybe ironically, we probably would end up arguing because Megan is not a fan of Incredibles 2, as we found out last week.
Oh, sorry.
Brendan and I are huge champions of that movie, which is why we wanted it in our top 10 last week. As a parent, I have not seen anything come close to getting it as right as Incredibles 2 does. Like it is.
And and to be fair, that could be a big part of why it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, and that's yeah, totally get that. Which is why if you ever do become a parent, I would be very intrigued to hear your perspective on it and how that might change, because it gets parenting. Like we've joked at the time, and since 2018, that film is essentially a documentary on parenthood. It is. And the challenges of parental duality, as we see in that movie, like it is 1,000% on the money. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I mean, the third act, when it becomes a superhero movie instead of a dad movie, then that's where it gets a little messy for sure, and where it doesn't quite reach the same heights as the first film. But I think the first two acts are as good as anything Pixar has ever done. And again, just more broadly speaking, it's one of the best movies about parenthood, like early kid parenthood, especially. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The exhaustion of him in that movie, I felt that deep in my core. Deep in my core.
I can relate.
I can relate. Yes, I was up early this morning because Andrew gets me up early. We went over to my in-laws this evening to celebrate, and the kids wanted to go outside to swim after we had dinner. And you know what I did? I took a nap.
That sounds right.
Because my body was falling apart. I was dead. I was out for the count. So yeah, I mean, Incredibles 2, very much a part of my day today, even though I did not watch the movie.
You lived it.
I lived it. Yes. So that's why I breaded and I championed that movie. It's a very good movie about parenthood and also a superhero thing sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, occasionally.
Occasionally. So yes, Incredibles 3. I'm very excited for that, and Brad Bird is simply one of my faves anyway. So I'm excited to see him round out that trilogy. And then Coco 2 looks interesting. You know, they've aged the character a little bit.
Yes.
So I'm curious for that one. I liked Coco. I do need to revisit that film. I have not seen it since it came out, but
I love Coco. It's so beautiful.
It's very, very moving for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited for those two as well.
Nice.
All right, Megan, let's talk about Jackass Best and Last. This is the new film that came out at the end of June, and it's going to be out on digital soon. I think it is out on digital right now for people to go and check out. Have you seen any of the Jackass movies before?
I haven't, but I need to binge them and see them all because now's the time.
Now is the time. Yeah, I have seen most of them. I do really like them a lot. They're a ton of fun. I have not seen Best and Last quite yet. As I noted up at the top of the show, I am swamped with 1998 homework right now. But once we move past the retrospective here in the next few weeks, I will be all in on the fall season as we ramp up toward award season. And so I will be catching up with a bunch of 2026 movies, including Best and Last. It is very much on my radar. I've heard nothing but great things. It's very funny for sure, but I've also read there's a tinge of poignancy to it for those that are fans of the franchise, because it is the last of them after all. Yeah, so true. I very much look forward to seeing this movie. We have 5 digital codes to give away, 5 of them. As tempted as I am to steal one, I will not. We have 5 digital codes to give away. If you want one of these digital codes, very easy. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, @InSessionFilm. All you have to do is look out for a post later on in the week, and we'll have instructions there for you to enter in that post. And that's all you got to do. Just follow the instructions there. Make sure that you follow us, because if you win, I need to be able to DM your code to you. So make sure that you are following us as well. @InSessionFilm. Look out for the post. Jackass Best and Last, 5 digital codes. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I very much look forward to checking this out. And we thank Jackass Best and Last for their support. All right, Megan, let's talk about coffee. Yes. I love coffee. I drink it every day, at least 2 cups, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
But who's counting?
Yeah, but who's counting? Exactly. And look, if you want coffee, you might as well drink the best coffee. You can go to a local shop and maybe they have okay coffee. Maybe they have better coffee. Maybe you like your coffee with milk and sugar and creams and all of this other nonsense that will fatten you up for the fall. Look, you don't need any of that in your coffee. Great high-end premium specialty grade coffee, which is what Coffee Cult's sources. That's why we love them, because they only source high-end coffee. We are literally talking about the highest graded coffees on the planet. And they are roast to order. So they don't have coffee sitting around in the warehouse. Your order comes in, it is roasted that week, and then shipped off to you directly. So you have fresh high-end coffee. That is an incredible way to live your life. And it's awesome coffee, and you don't need to add anything to it. It all has natural flavors of chocolate or walnuts or almonds, or if you want something more fruit forward, they have the Ethiopian coffees, for example. Or I will highlight this, the Costa Rica Cumbres. That is a coffee. It's highly sought after, and you cannot find it very many places in the United States because the crop is only so big and not many people can get their hands on it. But Coffee Cult is a legacy buyer for the Cumbres, and it is simply one of the best coffees you will ever have. It is to die for. Tremendous. And if I hear that you're buying Cumbres and putting milk in that coffee, we're going to fight. We're going to fight. You do not want to destroy. That's like buying a Ferrari and setting it on fire. Why would you do that? Why?
Why wreck it?
Would you do such a thing? You destroyed it.
What were you
What a
thinking?
waste of money. So don't do that. Yeah, the coffees are great. Coffeecult.com, coffee with the K, cult with the K, coffeecult.com. At checkout, use our code ISF26. Again, that code is ISF26. You'll get 15% off with that discount, ISF26. Go check them out. They're phenomenal. Phenomenal. You're going to love the coffee. I guarantee it. Coffeecult.com. And we thank them for their support. All right. Let's go ahead and get to our top 5 this week. As we noted up at the top of the show, we are looking at the new film Tony that is coming out this weekend as inspiration as we talk about our top 5 food movies, a topic that we haven't really done much of here on the show. But I'm very excited to get into this list. And I think it's coming at a good time because honestly, if we did this list 10 years ago, I don't know. Well, I don't want to undermine the potential of it, but I think my list now is going to be so much more exciting to talk about than if we did this 10 years ago. Let me just put it that way. All right. I'll lay that out as a tease. Did you have any criteria for your list?
Yes, I did. So my criteria was because there are plenty of films that have great food scenes, that have delicious, delectable, tantalizing food scenes. And my criteria was the film has to focus on food or eating or the crafting, cooking of food. So that was my criteria.
Gotcha. We're similar in the sense that, I wanted to stray away from food scenes because there is a fine line between the film being about food and a film simply featuring a scene that is memorable as it relates to food, for sure. However, maybe a small distinction for us, perhaps, is that for me, the movie itself didn't have to be about food or about cooking food, but food had to be crucial to the film in some way. It needed to be a through line. Again, not a scene or two. It had to play a pivotal role to the film. So that was my biggest mark here as far as what I was looking for. So the film itself, might thematically be about other things.
Sure,
but
sure.
The mechanism in getting there, food plays a big role in that.
Yes, yes. I think I'm in a similar space with some of the films on my list.
I kind of wonder
so,
if that might be the case. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With that laid out, let's go ahead and jump on in. Then what do you have at number 5?
Okay. Well, number 5, we're starting in the 70s. I'm going to tell you what it is, and then I have a disclaimer. So this is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
And this could have been a nostalgia choice, except I am one of the weirdos who did not see this as a child. I saw this for the first time 2 years ago. So
now you're obsessed as an adult.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is a horror movie. You cannot convince me otherwise. And it's weird. I'm so in. And so I read the book as a kid and I loved it because it's weird and it's terrifying. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. But I never watched the movie because I was like, I read the book. I don't need to see the movie. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, I get why everyone is obsessed with it. And Gene Wilder is incredible in giving the performance of his life. So, but what I love about this, in addition to him being, of course, mesmerizing, is that while this appears to be, a frothy confection with all the candy and all the chocolate and the vivid colors and the weird singing, this movie is a dreamscape nightmare. It's nightmare fuel. And I love that I'm convinced the children all die. So, which I kind of love about that it's very ambiguous. I love that Willy Wonka is intentionally an unreliable character. And that is exactly how Gene Wilder played him. And that was his requirement to play him. He's like, I need to portray this character as unreliable. I love that. I'm obsessed with it and his depiction. But I also love that it's so much about class dynamics as well as poverty, as well as the oppressive constraints of capitalism. And it's using food as a mechanism for that. Like, it's using candy and chocolate to lure in children to get them obsessed with a product. And I love how this film kind of depicts that. So,
there's such a fascinating irony to that film in the sense that, you're talking about a symbol of childhood with candy and chocolate, and you're invoking ideas like around wonder and creativity and this limitless imagination. That's what we see in them when they first arrive at the factory. And then as you're talking about, as the film unfolds, it then transforms into a horror film circling ideas of gluttony and greed and excess and entitlement and all these things. And it's fascinating. I have not seen the film in a long time. This is a movie that I was introduced to as a child. I did also revisit it once or twice in college as well, but I still have not seen the film in a long time. Very good movie. I've always really liked it. I don't know if I've always loved it as much as everyone else, but I really do think it's because of how horrific it really is. Yes. And how my relationship with horror, especially at that time, I think that's why there's always been like a slight distance between me and that movie.
That's
so
fair.
I might have to give it another go as an adult, especially now. That might change slightly, but I've always been fond of the film for the reasons you're talking about. So it is a very good audible mention for me.
Yeah, I just have to say that my roommate was horrified by it as a kid, and he's still horrified by it. So your relationship may not have changed.
Fair enough. My number 5. So I'm going to a movie that came out just a few years ago. This is An Hung Tran's 2023 film, The Taste of Things.
This is on my list too.
Okay, very exciting.
I love it.
I love this movie. So what's interesting about it is that there are 3-4 different events that play out throughout the film. And the whole sequence is predicated on the making of a dish or a course or an entire dinner. whatever the case is. But this whole film is about cooking food. And it's done almost as an act of love, as an expression of devotion and intimacy, and people coming together to share in something that is deeply human. It's something we all experience every single day. And I love the elaborate preparation sequences to emphasize that idea. And within that framework, we see remarkable craftsmanship. There's this sensory element of it that's gorgeous, that wafts over, even though we can't smell the food, it's almost like we can. Yeah, it's like, it's incredible. Like the film language here and how it just gets to all of our senses, even though we can't taste it, we can't smell it, but it hits us in those deep places where it's almost as if we can. And there's this remarkable romance and beauty to it that is incredible. And I really love, really great movie. I very much understand why France took this film at the time. I know it was somewhat controversial, but I don't blame them for it. I think it is very, very good. Even if it didn't get Oscar nominated, I think it was actually left out, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's part of the controversy, if I remember correctly. Either way, though, I still think it was one of the better films of that year, and I deeply, deeply love it. Certainly one of the better food movies for sure. So it's number 5 on my list.
I love that. This is number 3 on my list. And I love that we were both thinking about this film and locked into it. This is a film that is so sensual about food. And I love that. And I feel like I feel like you're in my head because because when I was compiling my thoughts and writing things out, I literally have that this is an expression of love and their generosity of love through their generosity of food. Yeah. And I love that. I love that it's an expression for them. And I love Juliette Binoche and Benoit Majamel's performances. I love their chemistry and their care for one another and how they connect with each other and flirt and show love. And I think this is an exceptional film. And the seductive cinematography and these languorous, glow-filled shots with the sunlight streaming, it's exquisite. It's rapturous. I love the way this film looks, and I love the food, and it does have this very tactile quality to it. Yeah, this is an incredible film. I think it's very underrated.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Well, and part of why it's underrated, because as you're talking there, I looked it up. The other film that was up for the French nomination was Anatomy of a Fall.
Oh, I mean, okay.
Which was not chosen, which wasn't. So The Taste of Things was picked above Anatomy of a Fall. Yet didn't really hurt Anatomy of a Fall all that much. It went on to be nominated many times over that year. So it did well for itself. However, to the point though, yes, I think you can very much make a case that Anatomy of a Fall is the better of the two movies. And
I would agree.
It's one of the best films of that year. But I honestly don't think the separation is all that much. And that's why I want to champion this film in terms of its underratedness, because it is very good. Yeah, maybe it doesn't quite reach the same heights of Anatomy of a Fall, but to what we were saying before the break, as far as La La Land and Moonlight, and there's these very small varying degrees of separation, but you don't necessarily have to hate on one to support the other. This is another great example where, yes, Anatomy of a Fall is great. Do you have to hate on The Taste of Things to make that point? No, stop it, because The Taste of Things is incredible. Yeah, it's very, very good. I still don't blame them. I really don't. Anatomy of a Fall is great, but anyone that would vote for The Taste of Things over it, I really do understand. Even if I don't fully agree, I can understand that, and I don't blame them for that. Even if it, in terms of the gamesmanship of the Oscars, it didn't work out in their favor.
No.
But, that happens sometimes in sports.
Yeah.
Oh, I said sports.
Oops.
Oops.
Freudian slip.
No, but all joking aside, though, that happens some, from time to time. But yeah, I mean, both are very good movies. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, sometimes they do make boneheaded decisions, Yeah. And you're like, what the hell are you thinking? But in that case, like, I really don't think it was that boneheaded. It's understandable to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're both beautiful. I mean, beautiful. That's a weird way to describe Anatomy of a Fall, but they're both excellent films. They're excellently crafted. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the following year, and I'll wrap up the conversation here, they picked Emilia Perez over All We Imagine as Light. That
Despicable.
was a boneheaded decision.
Yes.
That was dumb. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So they don't always get it right. But look,
No.
I do want to give them credit, though, for at least 2023. I get it. The Taste of Things is very good. If you haven't seen it, I highly encourage people to check it out because it's a very good movie, even outside of just the cooking sequences. And obviously, that's the focus of this specific conversation. But it's a great film, and I love the performances.
They're so good.
Yeah, it's a very intimate movie. I love it. All right, number 4. What do you got at number 4?
Number 4. When I put this on my list, I was like, oh, I feel like as soon as I start talking about this, JD's going to be like, of course you picked this movie. So we're talking about food. This is a different kind of food, but still food nonetheless. So I had to go with a cannibal movie, and I had to go with the cannibal movie. I went with 1974 Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because this is a movie that is all about food. It is all about food. And, it has to deal with class dynamics. It has to deal with rural versus urban, as many horror films do, especially in the 70s and the 80s. And there's this great point in the book. There's this academic book I have called Appetites and Anxieties about food and representation in film. And they talk about how the Texas Chainsaw Massacre shows the very methodical process that Leatherface has to go through to procuring food for his family. Yeah. And it is often a process, the slaughtering is absent from a lot of middle class lives. We don't see how our food is produced. We are divorced from that. And so, of course, this is about the extreme taboos with cannibalism, but it is also showing slaughter. And Tobe Hooper has said that this is an allegory for exploitation, and it's a vegetarian allegory. And so I love it for all those reasons. This is also visceral nightmare fuel. This is a phenomenal film. It's a meticulously crafted film. It's exceptional. But I think it's food politics and how it is depicting that is really, really fascinating as well. So even though this is the unsavory side, of course, of food and consumption and eating, I think it is fascinating nonetheless.
I should have known something like this might come up. I did not prepare accordingly, but I should have known better. I should have. Yes. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I did not expect the turn, however.
It's funny. When I was making my list, I was like, yep, it's got to be on there. Yep. And then I'm like, oh my God. And then I stopped and took stock, and I'm like, JD's going to just be shaking his head.
I did have to try to keep myself from laughing because I'm like, of course Megan had to go there. Yes, I should have known. God.
It's such a good film, though.
It is a very good movie, though. It is. No, you're not wrong. Like, you make some very articulate points.
Thank you.
And there's nothing I can say. But yes, I just did not expect a conversation about food to go to these places.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. I will just add that to my list of honorable mentions because it is a very good movie. All joking aside, it is a very good movie. I have nothing to add. Good stuff. Number 4 for me. This was my favorite movie of 2020. It is one of my favorite movies of the decade so far. It is Kelly Reichardt's masterpiece, First Cow, from 2020.
This is on my list too.
Wow. So we've crossed over twice now. That is very exciting. My first 2.
Right?
We've crossed over. Yeah, no, I absolutely love this. And it's also a very funny turn going off of cannibalism to these really lovely oily cakes.
Those oily cakes look good.
19th century. Yeah. So good. And again, what's interesting, going back to criteria, because ultimately this is an allegory on capitalism and the American dream.
Yes.
But food takes center stage as these two friends create this business over these oily cakes, of course. And the conflict comes through in the sense that the milk that is used to make these cakes are stolen from cows nearby. And thus, entrepreneurship and opportunity is exploited, and that certainly creates some drama that takes place near the end of the film. But I say that almost like passively because, yes, there is some drama that arises, but it's Kelly Reichardt. And if you know anything about Kelly Reichardt, she's not one for conventional tension and drama. This is a film that is patient. It is thoughtful. It's poignant. It is so gorgeously shot, and it's leaning on these two extraordinary performances at the center of the film that are internalized and quiet and stoic, but still full of life and beauty as they bond over this adventure that they're on in terms of making this food and trying to live a life for themselves. So yeah, it becomes this critique on capitalism by showing how something as simple as a pastry of all things can become this path for prosperity, but also it's this source of exploitation. And the lines that Kelly Reichardt is drawing there, and kind of, I guess, like showing a lot of the gray area. I just think is fascinating, and that friendship between Cookie and King Lou is just it's as good as it gets. Like it's quite remarkable, and I was deeply moved by First Cow. Like I said, my favorite film of 2020, and still one of my favorite films of the decade to this point. So it's my number 4 here.
I love that. This is my number 2 because for all the reasons you're saying, Kelly Reichardt is one of my favorite filmmakers. This is one of my favorite films that she's done, and just one of my favorite films in general. It's so beautiful. And you're right. The cinematography is stunning. John Magaro and Orion Lee are incredible. And I love that you're absolutely right that it's about capitalism. And it's also, and it is about exploitation of humans, of animals, and the way that poor cow is treated. And like, I love that scene where what gives it away is when she nuzzles Cookie. And it's such a sweet, tender moment. And I love that. And I love how this is a movie about dreams and going for your dreams, but also about how capitalism and class dynamics squash and oppress those dreams and squeeze them ruthlessly. But I love that also amidst all of that despair and oppression, these two beautiful souls found each other and are able to connect and be tender with one another and have this really sensitive, delicate friendship, and they really shelter each other emotionally and physically. And I just love that. This is such a stunning film. It just brings me to tears just watching it, thinking about it, talking about it. It's incredible.
It is incredible. And I know we're talking about food, so I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole, but it is interesting that, yes, there is a layer of Cookie and King Lou and exploiting the resources around them in order to make these oily cakes, given that who owns the land and why they're there in the first place, all stems from exploitation in and of itself.
Yes.
So it's
Native American
fascinating
genocide.
irony.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But back to the food for a second and how delicious it looks. I love that Kelly Reichardt gave John Magaro a bunch of like frontier cookbooks, and he like spent like hours like cooking and training, and I'm just so he could be more natural and on screen. I love that. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, very good movie. I love it a lot. So that is my number 3. Or number 4, excuse me. Your number 3 you've already mentioned.
Yes.
So I will quickly talk about my number 3, and that is Chantal Ackerman's 1975 masterpiece, Jean Dillman. I'm still not sure how to say that, but I love this movie, and this is one I recently caught up with. So again, to earlier in this segment where I was talking about how I don't know what my list would have looked like 10 years ago. Obviously, my first 2 choices are within the last 6 years. That's certainly part of it. But also, despite this film coming out in 1975, I would not have seen this film 10 years ago. So it would not have made my list. But I do really love this as a food movie, because this movie, for those that are not familiar with it, it is 201 minutes long. It is very, very long. And the majority of it takes place over the course of 3 days. It is very slow and methodical. In fact, it is so patient in its filmmaking and so pragmatic that it almost makes Kelly Reichardt look like Michael Bay by comparison.
I love that comparison. That's incredible. Is that the first time anybody has compared Kelly Reichardt to Michael Bay?
I will go on record to say I am probably the first and last.
Love it. I love that. You're blazing that trail.
Put me in the Guinness Book of World Records where that statement belongs. But yeah, I mean, this film is extremely patient. There are moments here where the camera will sit still for 15, 20 minutes as Jean does these mundane tasks in her home. And much of that is preparing food, preparing dishes and dinner. And so we'll sit there watching her as the camera lays still as she peels potatoes for 10 minutes. And I'm not exaggerating. That's what happens in this movie. And so you're sitting there watching this woman create a meal in real time. And so this is cooking in a way that it is the narrative language of the film in a lot of ways. As she's not just peeling potatoes, but she's breading cutlets and making coffee, and it becomes a part of her daily routine, as it is, because again, we eat every single day. So it's a part of her identity. It's part of her ritual. But given the context of the drama of this film, which again is subtle, but very much there, psychologically, the character starts to deteriorate. So these culinary routines at a certain point begin to fracture, and they become profoundly more dramatic as the film goes on. And so it becomes this meditation on domestic labor and gender expectations and the invisible work that is just a part of our daily lives, even if we don't think about it. Again, it's there. It's something we do every single day. And when our psychological and emotional states become fractured, those mundane tasks all of a sudden feel much more cumbersome. And that's why food here is a big part of the story, because the movie isn't overtly laying that out. It's visually showing us that. So early on, peeling potatoes is routine. It's mundane. It's banal. It goes on for a while because, God damn it, peeling potatoes can take a while, especially in 1975.
Sure can.
But by the third day, when you're in a mental health crisis, the idea of doing that is going to feel very, very differently. So the film isn't telling us these things. It's very much showing us how food, these mundane tasks in our lives, become more arduous when life is coming down. And it's a phenomenal film in that way, and lived up to the bill. I mean, it has a reputation as being one of, if not the best film of all time. I don't know if it trumps Citizen Kane for me. That's just so deeply personal to me. But again, subtle nuances doesn't really matter. It's still, again, it's very much a masterpiece in its own right, and I love it. And it's my number 3 here.
I love that. I was going to say, I'm ashamed to say, but you recently caught up with it too, so maybe I'm a little slightly less ashamed. But as a feminist cinephile, I feel ashamed that I have not watched this iconic feminist masterpiece. And so it is one that has been on my list for such a long time for all the reasons that you're saying. And so I am excited to dive into it, although I know excited might seem strange because I know that this is a very methodical and slow moving film, intentionally so. But I am excited to dive in because I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about how impactful this film is. And so, I definitely want to watch it and need to see it. I think it's an important one to see. Yeah.
Bring a bowl of potatoes and peel away as you watch the movie.
Listen,
see if you can do it faster than Gene.
I'm a slow cook, so probably not. And I do peel potatoes because I love my potatoes. Yeah,
bring a plate. Do something. Right? Have some food in front of you because it's a long movie. You're going to need to consume
Settle
something.
in.
Yeah, exactly. Very good movie. All right, so that's my number 3. You've already gave your number 3 as well. So let's move on to number 2.
Which I've already given.
You've already talked about, so I will continue. My number 2 here is the Ramin Barnani film from 2005, Man Push Cart.
Oh, have you seen this film? No, I need to see it. This is on my list too.
So this is one of those movies, and funny enough, I did not even do this intentionally, but it has worked out gloriously. As it sometimes does here on the show. Earlier in the episode, up at the top, I talked about our 1998 retrospective coming up and how I've been watching some movies that I needed to catch up with for that retrospective. This is one of those movies for 2005. Ooh. At the time, and this would have been 8 years ago, if my math is correct, when we did that 2005 retrospective. And this was a blind spot for me, and I watched it, and I was blown away by it. I was blown away by it because it's essentially, I want to say this generation, but the film was 20 years ago, but the 2000s generation of bicycle thieves.
Oh, okay. Yes. Now you have my attention.
It is the 2000s bicycle thieves. There is Italian neorealism all over the film. And I loved every second of it. And narratively, what we see is that it centers on a character named Ahmed. He is a Pakistani immigrant living in New York City who is struggling to get by from day to day and week to week. And his livelihood is centered on a food cart that he has invested everything into. So it is not too dissimilar from Antonio and his investment in the bicycle in Bicycle Thieves. And if you're familiar with what happens to Antonio, well,
oh boy, am I.
Let me just say that Ahmad experiences the very soul of Italian heroism as it relates to the tragedies of blue-collar life. And the performance at the center is unbelievable. He was a non-professional actor at the time. And Ahmad Razvi, I believe, is the actor. Non-professional actor at the time. Truly phenomenal. Phenomenal performance. Like one of the best non-professional actor performances you'll see. And I think part of what moves me about the film is that not only does he have to remedy the tragedy, again, as it mirrors Bicycle Thieves. I'm trying not to spoil it for those that have not seen Bicycle Thieves. But yes, the conflict is very much the same. So as he's trying to remedy that, part of it is he is a man struggling to provide not just for him, but his son as well. And I love how the film takes, those near-realistic ideas, Italian near-realistic ideas, funnels it through a modern prism as far as immigrants living in New York City and the toll that takes living day to day. It is extraordinary. It is a beautiful movie. It is full of remarkable pathos. And while it might not feature the amount of food as some of these others, it is still vital to the film, given that it's his identity and it's everything to him. So when that is stripped away from him, I'll say vaguely, his identity is fractured, and he does everything in his power to get that back, because otherwise he and his son will not survive. And it's gorgeous. I'll just leave it at that, but it is really, really gorgeous. So the food card is a pivotal aspect to the film, the thematic and narrative nucleus. It is the thrust of the movie. So despite showing less food, I still think it's as important as any other film we've talked about. And it's at my number 2.
I mean, you've sold me on it. I mean, I already had this on my list just because I'd heard such great things about it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, that sounds devastating and beautiful all at once. So can't wait to see it.
It's very good. Yeah. If you like Bicycle Thieves, prepare yourselves.
Oh my God. I mean, I do, but man, it's a gut punch.
It is. Yeah, it is a gut punch. It is, but it's very, very good. I loved it. I loved that movie. In fact, I think that ended up being my number 2 or number 3 when we did that retrospective. Like, it was very high on my list.
Oh, wow.
I loved it quite a lot. All right. Number 1. What do you got at number 1?
My number 1, I felt like I had to have this as my number 1 because when you suggested this topic, this was the first movie that came to mind. And for me, that is Ratatouille.
Of course.
I love Ratatouille. It's a delight. It is wonderful. It's so, of course, vivid, colorful, jubilant. And I love that it's about the ecstasy of food and going after your dreams of being a chef, no matter what. And I love that it connects to our memories and about reminiscing and reconnecting to those most potent parts of ourselves that bring joy to us. And I love that. I think it's a beautiful film. I think the score is lovely. The animation, it has a whimsy to it and a tenderness. And I think it's such a great film about food. And I might also be slightly biased because I also love to go, of course, on the Ratatouille ride at Epcot, and you get to smell the smells, which is amazing too, in addition to, seeing parts of the story. So,
yep. Did I mention I love Brad Bird? Has that been uttered on this episode once or twice already? I believe that has been done. How can you not go with Ratatouille here? Ratatouille is the number 1 pick for sure.
Is it your number 1 too?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yes. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Didn't have to think much about it.
Right.
And, it's interesting because at least on my list, you can look at something like the Taste of Things. We talked about how that's this act of love, this act of intimacy. First Cow is food through the prism of opportunity and the American dream. And it's this ritual, this mundane task. And Gene Delman and Man Push Cart, it's survival. It's getting you through the day. And Ratatouille is food as freaking art. It is an artistic expression. And I love how that comes through in the movie. It is like the way that the film expresses that is remarkable, and it leads to one of, if not Pixar's best moment, with Anton Ego's famous reaction to the Ratatouille, the famous Ratatouille that we see at the end of the film, triggering memory and emotion. It's phenomenal. Like how the film builds to that. It's great. It's great. And while we didn't really talk about it as part of the D23 experience, Brad Bird is constantly asked about a Ratatouille sequel and if it's going to happen. He keeps saying that it's not. But we've talked about Disney and their greed even on this episode. So I wouldn't say that it won't ever happen.
You know what, though? I hope it never does. I love that it's just an entity unto itself. So
yeah, I mean, I kind of love when Pixar was doing less sequels.
Me
and
too.
did more original movies.
Me too. I feel the same exact way. And sometimes it's nice to have a sequel. Like, yes, I like the Frozen films, but I also really love when it's just a one and done, and it exists in that moment. So
yeah, and I mean, I say this knowing that some of these others that have gotten sequels, you can make the same argument for, but I don't know where you go with the Ratatouille sequel. Like what do you need to do?
Right?
You're
He's
just going to show
dream.
us 90 minutes of Remy living his best life.
Right? Like he's living the dream and the restaurant's working, and I want that to continue. I don't want it to fall apart.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want conflict there. I don't want drama. I just want to live on knowing that Remy is a 5-star chef and living his best life. Yeah.
Exactly. That's as it should be. As it should be.
Yes. Leave it with that classic Disney ending. We don't have to Frozen deconstruct it. Okay.
Right. There's a place for that. There's a time for that, and not here. Let's just enjoy
Leave
and
that
revel
one
in
alone.
it. Yes.
Exactly. Which is why Brad Bird is right. Like there is no story to be told there. Leave that one alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. At any rate, so that's our top 5. Yeah, I'm with you. Ratatouille is my number 1 as well. Honorable mentions. What do you got for honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. I had Pig. And I thought a lot about putting it. So that was a close one.
Yeah, it was my number 6, I think. It was really tough.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too. Yeah, I also thought about Raw, another cannibal film, which I love and adore. But I was like, I can only have one. I can't go crazy here. Also, speaking of not Pixar, but Disney, The Princess and the Frog. And Like Water for Chocolate, and I love another film about sensuality of food, and The Menu, which I don't think is a perfect film by any means, but I kind of love that.
It's fun though.
Yeah. I think it has some intriguing things to say about restaurants and cooking and class and all of that. So.
Sure. I also have The Pig, or just Pig rather is the title of it. And like I said, that was probably my number 6. That was really hard to leave off, but ultimately I did because I forget what the context was, but we've had a top 5 recently where it was on my list.
Yes.
Within the last few months. So I decided to leave it off as an honorable mention. I also have the Trip movies here.
Oh, yes. Yes, those are great. Yes, I had those on kind of the longer runner-up list.
Yeah, big fan of those movies. I just collectively had them all as an honorable mention, but they're very good. And obviously food is such a pivotal part of that experience in that film. Kiki's Delivery Service, I thought a lot about as well.
Oh my God. I'm mad at myself that I didn't have it on my list because it's an adorable film. I love it. I love Gigi. I love Kiki. It's so adorable and sweet. Yeah.
Lovely. Food being a big part of that film as well. Chef from 2014, I thought was a charming little Jon Favreau little movie that I really liked. I thought about... I wasn't exactly sure if it would qualify in the same ways as like Gene Delman, as I mentioned earlier. But I think it does. I would need to revisit the film to see how much of a role it plays. Because in my mind, it plays quite prominently, but I could be misremembering. So I left it off as an honorable mention, but Phantom Thread also came to mind for me. But I don't know if I'm conflating the movie with the ending. I don't know.
I saw it. I know what you mean. I was incensed when I saw it on a food list, and I was like, "What do you mean? That's a poison movie. That's not a food movie." But you know
have
what?
Cannibalism on your list.
I know. That's true. And I was gonna say, but that's a pivotal part. That's a crux of the film.
Yeah.
But you know what? So is it for Phantom Thread. So
yeah.
I think it does qualify. I think it does.
So in that case, yeah, it's at the very least a good honorable mention. I need to give it another go to see if it would crack my 5 as far as how much it is in there, but it very much came to mind. So I left it off as an honorable mention. I also have the menu. The first Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, I think, is very fun.
Oh.
The documentary Hero Dreams of Sushi, I think, is really great.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. I definitely have a lot of blind spots as well when it comes to this list. But still really love my 5. Love that 5.
I love that. I know. I love my 5 too. Not just because I think 3 of ours overlap.
We of course we crossed over 3
I know,
times.
shocking.
Incredible. All right. Well, if you agree or disagree with anything we had to say, you can leave a comment below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, hit us up social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can always email us in sessionfilm@gmail.com. All right. As I noted up at the top of the show, we will be talking about The End of Oak Street. We'll have a review for that coming soon. I don't know if I'm going to be a part of that. My schedule this week is insane, so I might not be a part of it. But if I can somehow make it work, I do want to talk about that movie.
There's a lot to talk about.
There are things to talk about, yes. And then we have another review for The Rivals of Mzia King, which I have seen that one as well. I would love to be there for that one, but scheduling does not look good for me, so I don't know if I'm going to be there for that. I think Dave Giannini is going to fill in for me, so I very much look forward to you and Dave talking about that movie. Have you seen The Rivals of Mzia King yet?
No, I'm going to be seeing it Monday morning.
Okay. I can't wait to hear you guys talk about it.
I'm excited to see it. So
the only thing I'll say is I'll leave it at this, but could Matthew McConaughey be a part of the award season? Yes, maybe, probably. I hope so.
I was like, that doesn't actually surprise me because, he's really talented. So I'm excited. I'm even more excited now.
My only fear there is that this is distributed by Black Bear Pictures, and nothing against Black Bear, but I don't know what their awards budget is. So I don't.
That is fair.
I don't know how much of an awards push this is going to have, but I think there's qualities within it that are worthy. I'll just leave it at that for now. But this is Andrew Patterson's follow-up film to The Vast of Night. Did you like The Vast of Night?
Love it. So I'm so excited.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts then. Yep, we'll discuss next week once Megan is able to see it, since I won't be on the review. All right. Well, with that said, be on the lookout for those reviews. Shadon missed this last week because she was traveling, but I do think she plans on having a new episode this week, so you can be on the lookout for that. And speaking of chasing the gold, it's just that time of the year, so there are more awards pieces going out on the website and sessionfilm.com, so you can stay tuned to what Shadon has going on over there at the website, as well as Dave and the team of writers. They're always doing great work in sessionfilm.com. Again, go and check out all of that there. So, all right, we'll get out of here. Be sure to subscribe to the show if you haven't already. It really does mean the world to us. If you can take a second, subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcast or on Spotify. That really helps us out as well. And if you want to sign up for VIP episodes, you can do that at patreon.com/sessionfilm. In Session Film. All right. With that said, thanks, Megan. As always, really do appreciate you. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time on the In Session Film Podcast.